At the beginning of the drama, the male lead, Chao, asks Xiao if she has filled out the admission form for the university. Xiao replies that her father is not agreeing. Chao says he wants them both to study at the same university so he can see her every day. A flashback reveals that they are childhood friends. Xiao's parents scold her for ranking 29th in class, while Chao ranked first. Chao explains that a student was unwell, and Xiao would have ranked last otherwise. Xiao's mother throws her out of the house. Xiao goes to Chao's house, but Chao turns off the computer and insists she call him elder brother, which she refuses. They start fighting. Ling Long, a classmate who likes Chao, visits with cookies but leaves after seeing him with Xiao. The next day, Xiao hears that a gang is damaging students' bicycles and extorting money. Later, when Xiao's bicycle is found fallen with blood nearby, Xiao fears he's been targeted and searches for him. Chao, realizing Xiao hasn't returned home, goes to search for her and finds her being bullied. He takes her home and dries her hair, telling her to inform him if she goes anywhere. A flashback shows Chao's birth. He didn't cry until Xiao came to him. They grew up together, and Xiao always tried to protect him, but her actions often hurt him. This caused him to not see her as a sister. At school, some girls were looking at Chao, but when he passed by, they started flirting with him. Han, noticing this, became jealous. Later, their teacher assigns responsibilities for the school. Xiao is cleaning with her friend Zhang when Zhang asks her to help steal her phone from the principal's office. Xiao, feeling emotional, agrees. Just then, Xiao and his classmate Xinlan arrive. Xiao tells Xiao they are in charge of hygiene and that her cleaning is inadequate, which could lead to point deductions. They spot a plastic bag hanging from a tree, and when Xiao climbs to get it, he slips and falls, tearing his pants. Xiao covers her with his jacket and takes her home, which makes Xinlan feel jealous. At home, Xiao starts cleaning Xiao's room and finds a box under the bed. Xiao tells her not to open it, but she does anyway, discovering some adult movie CDs inside. Xiao quickly covers her eyes and claims they belong to his desk mates. Xiao agrees to keep it a secret but asks for a favor in return. The next day, she takes him to the principal's office to steal Zhang's phone. Han arrives, and the three of them search for the phone. When their teacher, who had been sleeping there, catches them, Xiao makes an excuse and leaves. However, the teacher takes the phone from Xiao and punishes them by making them run around the school grounds. Later, Xiao goes to Chao's house to give him a box of apples and tells him she will expose him for the CDs. Chao shows her the phone he took from the teacher, explaining that the teacher made him write an apology letter. While there, Xiao finds a cigarette in the trash and scolds him for smoking, but Chao doesn't know where it came from. The next morning, Chao notices his mom dressed nicely and heading to the office. In class, Yang is calculating everyone's future when the teacher asks Ling Long a question. When she cannot answer, the teacher sends her out. Ling Long then tells the teacher that Xiao and Zhang were also talking, so they are sent out too. When Xiao sees Chao and Xinlan, she hides her face behind a book. Chao approaches, teasing her for holding the book upside down before walking away. After school, Chao sees a man picking up his mom, which makes him feel bad. The next day, Chao's mom tells him that now that he's grown up, he should live his life his own way, and she leaves with the man. However, it turns out to be a bad dream. When Chao wakes up, Xiao gives him candy. Later, when Xiao returns home, he notices a car leaving and finds nail polish on his nails. He calls Xiao to scold her, but she cuts the call, pretending to study for exams while actually checking her fortune, which says her luck is running low. The next day, Chao gives his mom an earring for her birthday and asks if the man came to celebrate. His mom offers to introduce him, but Chao declines, just wanting her to be happy. The next day, they check their exam results, where Han comes first, Chao second, and Xiao barely passes. On the way home, Xiao asks Chao not to tell his mom about her results. At home, she stops him from saying anything. Xiao's mom is very angry when she finds out that someone has already sent Xiao's results home. The next day, Xiao scolds Ling Long for sending her report card home. In the next scene, during geography class, Xiao and Zhang are sketching in their books, so they are moved to different seats. Zhang is now sitting with a classmate named Huan, and Xiao is paired with Han. Xiao tells Han that she knows he probably doesn't like sitting with a backbencher, but Han replies that no matter who his deskmate is, his goal is to defeat Chao. Later, Xiao has a dream where the world is about to end and monsters capture her. Scared, she calls Qiao and tells him about the dream. Qiao reassures her that the world will not end and starts explaining a theory, but Xiao gets so bored that she falls asleep. The next day, Xiao's mom brings them innerwear with rabbit patterns. Xiao likes the rabbit design, but Qiao doesn't. Xiao jokingly suggests that if the world were to end, they should wear matching t-shirts, but Qiao refuses. Xiao accidentally takes Qiao's bag and leaves. When Qiao finds her bag, he nervously sees a girl's bra inside and quickly puts it back. He then shows it to Xiao, telling her she's taken his clothes. Xiao feels embarrassed and leaves. During break, Xiao starts eating snacks, waking Han up. She offers him some, but he refuses, saying he doesn't eat junk food. Later, when Qiao goes home, his mom says she's going to introduce him to a man. The man arrives and it turns out to be Qiao's dad. Seeing him, Qiao retreats to his room. Meanwhile, Xiao notices the same car parked outside Qiao's house that had earlier picked up Qiao's mom. Qiao later visits Xiao's house, and she asks him to watch TV to distract him, but Qiao remains focused on something else. She then suggests playing a game with her parents. The next day, Xiao and Xiao ride their bicycles to school together. Han, seeing them together, wonders how they can be friends despite their differences and speculates that they might be in a relationship. At lunch, Han sits next to Xiao, and seeing him with girls, the principal calls him to the office. The class teacher questions Han about the new rule that boys and girls should stay apart and asks if he is in love with Xiao. Han responds that it's actually Xiao and Xiao who are in love. Han was just collecting evidence, but the teacher didn't believe him. At the end of the school day, Han sees Qiao and Xiao together again. The next day, Han asks Xiao about her relationship with Qiao. Xiao tells him they are just neighbors, like siblings. Han asks if she knows everything about Qiao, and Xiao says yes, he even helps her with her homework. Han, pleased, says this means Qiao has less time to study. He begins to get closer to Xiao and takes great care of her. Later, Qiao tells Xiao that someone is following them. Xiao notices it's Han and happily tells Qiao that Han has fallen in love with her, but Qiao insists that Han must have a hidden motive. Their winter vacation begins, and Xiao is chatting with Han over dinner, making Qiao jealous. The next day, Qiao watches TV while Xiao continues chatting with Han. Han messages Xiao, asking to meet at a cafe to help with her homework. Xiao thinks Han is going to confess his feelings, so she agrees. Qiao follows her to keep an eye on her, and their friends, including Xinlan, join him. At the cafe, Han offers Xiao a cake. When she asks if he likes her, Han says no. Xiao is confused, asking why he's taking care of her, but Han explains he's just being a desk mate. When cake gets on Han's lips, Xiao wipes it off, causing Han's heart to skip a beat. Xiao tries to pay her share of the bill, but Han refuses, saying he doesn't accept money from a girl. Afterward, they go to a clothing shop, where both Qiao and Han pick out sweaters for Xiao to try. Qiao ends up paying for the sweater. Outside the store, Qiao asks Xiao for money for the sweater. She gives him 10 yuan, but he tells her to consider it a New Year's gift. After the vacation, school resumes, and some girls give Qiao gifts, but he ignores them. The teacher announces that students must choose between arts and science. During lunch, Han asks Xiao which she will choose, and she says it depends on her results. Han asks about Qiao's choice, but Xiao doesn't know. After school, when they're heading home, Han also joins them. Xiao tells Qiao that Han knows the way to her house, but Qiao tells her to go home because someone is following them. It turns out to be Qiao's dad. Qiao asks why he's following them, and his dad says he just wants to see him happy. Qiao tells him that he left them by his own choice and shouldn't come back into their lives. Meanwhile, Xiao takes Han to her home, where Han feels uncomfortable. Xiao's dad says Han is more handsome than Qiao, which makes Han happy. Later, Qiao's family comes to dinner at Xiao's house, and Han helps with all the housework. When he's about to leave, he discovers his bicycle has been stolen. Xiao offers him hers. The next day, on their way to school, Xiao asks Qiao whether she should choose science or arts. Qiao replies that it doesn't matter. She'll still fail. Xinlan offers Qiao breakfast, but he refuses. At school, Xiao tells Zhang that Xinlan might be jealous of her closeness with Xiao. In class, Xiao sees Xinlan gossiping about her, so she scolds her. Meanwhile, Qiao avoids both Xinlan and Linglong. The next day, during computer class, Xiao pretends to be Zhang and messages Qiao, asking if he likes her and if he would go eat chicken with her after school. Chow replies, saying if she wants to eat chicken, she should just say so directly. Later, Zhang tells Xiao that Han likes her. He gave her milk tea, and since she accepted it, it means she likes him too. Zhang suggests spending time with Han outside of school. In the following scene, Han gets ready nicely, but Xiao takes him to a taekwondo class instead. Meanwhile, when Xiao goes home and sees slippers, he realizes his dad is visiting, so he goes to Xiao's house. Han then drops Xiao off at her home and tells her that his dream is to become a singer and dancer, but his parents don't support him. Han drops Xiao off at her house, and when she reaches home, she sees Xiao waiting for her. Xiao asks if she really believes Han is her Prince Charming, suggesting there must be a hidden motive behind his actions. Xiao responds by saying Xiao must be jealous, and then goes inside. Later, Xiao sees his dad's car parked outside his house. He goes to Xiao's house again, where Xiao and Han's friends are gathered. Xiao gets upset when he sees Han wearing slippers, so Xiao gives him her own. They play a game of truth or dare, where Zhang dares Xiao to stare at a classmate for a few seconds. She chooses Han, and during the stare, Han's feelings begin to shift from friendship to something more. The next morning, Xiao's mom isn't feeling well, but is still preparing breakfast. Just then, Xiao's dad arrives, and Xiao leaves without having breakfast. At Xiao's house, her mom asks why Xiao hasn't had any dreams or goals, as she knows everyone else does. Her father then argues with her, favoring Xiao, and eventually leaves. The next day, Xiao goes around asking everyone, including her teacher and principal, what their dreams are. Meanwhile, Xiao waits at Xiao's house, feeling frustrated. Xiao complains about not being able to sleep, but when Xiao notices that the car has left, he goes home. His father gives him some medicine for his mom, making Xiao realize how selfish he's been by not noticing that his mom is unwell. He asks his father to have breakfast with him. The next morning, the atmosphere is awkward, and Xiao quickly finishes his breakfast and leaves for school. After class, the teacher announces a parent-teacher meeting. Han meets Xiao after school, and Zhang asks if Han now likes her. Han doesn't confirm or deny it. He then asks Xiao if she's not worried about the parent-teacher meeting, and she replies that her parents are out of town. At the meeting the next day, Xiao's mom sits at Xiao's desk since Xiao's parents are away. Xiao's dad attends his class, where the teacher praises his academic performance, but notes that he isn't very talkative, suggesting his parents should pay more attention to him. Meanwhile, the students mimic how their parents will lecture them. Han begins to feel attracted to Xiao, but when he sees her and Xiao getting closer, he feels jealous. Later, Xiao and Zhang overhear students gossiping about how Xiao's mom impersonated Xiao's mom at the parent-teacher meeting. They also hear rumors that Xiao and Xiao are childhood sweethearts, and that Xiao and Han are close now. Zhang tries to interrupt, but Xiao tells her to ignore it. Han overhears the gossip and feels jealous. The teacher advises him to focus on his studies and promises to give him tips on approaching his crush. Meanwhile, Xiao hides from Xiao to avoid the rumors spreading further. When she tells him about it, Xiao says he didn't care when the rumor involved her and Han. Xiao denies the rumors, but Xiao asks if their current rumor is true and pulls her away. Xiao brings fruit to Xiao's room and finds her talking on the phone with Han. He starts to leave, but Xiao stops him and asks him to sign her report card, leading to an argument between them. During the argument, Han calls again, and Xiao tells him to talk later as she is in the middle of an important conversation. The next day, Xiao's friend tells him that Han and Xiao are now in separate classes but still spend a lot of time together. He imagines Han will be his brother-in-law in 10 years and starts keeping an eye on them. Meanwhile, Xiao and Zhang are reading a comic book, but to avoid the teacher's attention, they pretend it's a knowledge book. Zhang takes her to the same shop, where Xiao buys a novel disguised as a computer book, one that Xiao also wanted to read. Xiao also tells Zhang that she will go to the movies with Han the next day. In another scene, Xiao's friend, looking for a book on Shin's suggestion, feels cold while searching for it. When Xiao finds out, he scolds his friend for doing something just because others tell him to. The friend reveals that he was once chubby and made fun of in school until Shinlan befriended him, leading to an argument between them. The friend punches Xiao in frustration. Meanwhile, Han is excited about going out with Xiao, and she is ready, but Xiao arrives with an injured face. Xiao starts treating his injury, but Xiao dislikes taking medicine. As always, Xiao forcefully gives it to him. During the fuss, Han calls, but Xiao's phone is on silent, and she forgets about the movie plans. The next day, Xiao learns that Han had a fever because he waited for her in the cold the previous night. She feels guilty and wonders what excuse she will make. Han, waiting for her call, answers excitedly. Xiao apologizes, explaining that she forgot about the movie because of Xiao's injury. Han asks if she considers Xiao a better friend than him, but Xiao doesn't know how to answer. Later, Zhang comes to Xiao's house to study. While seeing off her friend, Xiao notices Jun, a boy playing the violin, who is Linglong's cousin. They used to play together in childhood, and Xiao had a crush on him. Xiao then asks Linglong if she can come over to do winter vacation homework with Jun's help. Linglong agrees, but in return, Xiao must invite Xiao to her house as well. Xiao tells Xiao about the homework session at her house, and Xiao, who has already finished his homework, initially refuses to join. When Xiao mentions Jun was her childhood crush, Xiao asks what she thinks of Han. Xiao responds that Han is just a friend. Later, Xiao finds their childhood album, including pictures of Jun, and as she leaves, Xiao tries to stop her. She accidentally gets pinned to the door, and their heartbeats race for a moment. The next day, everyone gathers at Xiao's house to do homework. Xiao secretly watches Jun, and during a break, they watch TV and plan to eat fried chicken over the weekend. On the weekend, Xiao and Xiao wait for Jun and Linglong. To keep her warm, Xiao gives Xiao his jacket. When the others arrive, Xiao keeps glancing at Jun, which makes Xiao jealous. He tries to distract her. At the restaurant, Jun asks Xiao why she's blushing. She admits he's handsome and has been her childhood ideal. Before she can confess her feelings, Xiao interrupts, taking her away. On the bus ride home, Xiao falls asleep on Xiao's shoulder, causing him to smile and begin to feel attracted to her. In the next scene, Han is singing in a washroom when a man notices him. A man starts following Han and tells him that he is a general manager in the entertainment industry. He says he really liked Han's singing and gives him his business card. Han shares this with his friends and expresses uncertainty about becoming a trainee, as his parents might not agree. Xiao encourages him to follow his dream and talk to his parents. A few days later, Han tells Xiao that he passed the audition and his parents agreed. But he still feels down because he thinks Xiao is better than him at everything. Xiao reassures him, telling him that Xiao can't sing, which makes Han happy that he's better than Xiao at something. Soon, Xiao's college entrance exams approach, and Xiao helps him prepare. The day before the exam, she repeatedly asks if he has his admit card, supplies, and what time he wants to wake up, irritating Xiao, who tells her to leave him alone. A few days later, Xiao passes his entrance exam and goes to a new university. Later, Han announces that he will be going abroad for studies and tells Xiao that they might not see each other as much after he leaves. He emotionally says that he wants her to always remain his best friend and is about to hug her goodbye. But Xiao gets a call from Xiao and leaves, leaving Han very sad. 2 months later, Xiao is working hard for her final exams. Xiao messages her to ask how her studies are going, and she replies with a happy birthday message because it's his birthday. After the exams, while everyone else has left, Xiao stays behind to study alone. When leaving, she sits at Xiao's desk in his classroom, and he surprises her. He reminds her that she promised to get into Yunhai University and encourages her to keep working hard. He waits for her at the university. They celebrate his birthday together, and since they don't have a candle, Xiao uses her phone's torch and asks Xiao to make a wish. In a surprising moment, Xiao accidentally falls on her, and their hearts race. Later in the dorm, Xiao calls Xiao, but she tells him she's busy studying for her entrance exam and doesn't want to be disturbed. Xiao encourages her to rest, saying he has something to tell her after the exam. Her roommates tease her, saying that even their cold-hearted friend is afraid to express his feelings. When the exam date arrives, Xiao accompanies Xiao. On the way to the exam, she accidentally steps in dog poop. Xiao helps her clean her shoes and offers her his own shoes to wear. The exams continue for a few more days, and on the last day, Xiao becomes emotional, thinking that this is the end of her school days, her friends, teachers, and all the fun. A few days later, Xiao gets her exam results. Her marks are higher than expected, but still not enough for admission to her dream university. Then, Xiao calls her to inform her that the university has added Xiao is considering applying for journalism as a subject, which would allow her to gain admission to the university. After finishing his semester exams, Xiao also returns home. The scene shifts to the present, where the drama started. Xiao is asked if she has applied to the university, and she replies that her father is not agreeing. Xiao suggests that she should apply to another university in the same city so he can see her daily. He moves closer to her, about to kiss her, but it turns out to be his imagination. He really does approach her, expressing that he wants to see her every day. He gets so close that she nervously pushes him into the water and runs away. Later, Xiao goes to her room to check on Xiao, as he caught a cold from falling into the water. However, when she enters, she finds he isn't there. A little later, she hears Xiao's voice and hides under his bed. Xiao begins taking off his clothes one by one, which makes Xiao very angry. Xiao asks how long she plans to stay hidden, telling her to hide her slippers as well. Xiao questions why he is undressing, and he explains he is changing clothes for washing. He then moves closer to her again, which makes Xiao even angrier, and she runs away. A few days later, Xiao arrives at the university, where Zhang also got admitted. They are happy to find they share the same dorm. Soon after, Ling Long arrives at their dorm, because she also got the same room. Then a new roommate named Mo arrives, and they all introduce themselves. In the next scene, Xiao calls Xiao down and asks if she's still angry with him. He feels it's not wrong to remove his clothes in his own room, but Xiao remains upset, so he apologizes. They receive a call from their roommates inviting them to dinner. At dinner, Xiao deliberately sits across from Xiao. One of Xiao's friends mentions that last year, many girls at the college proposed to Xiao, but he rejected them all. Ling Long asks if Xiao has a girlfriend, and Xiao's friend reveals he has a childhood sweetheart, but she's very rude and irritable. During a game of Truth or Dare, Zhang dares Xiao to go to any handsome boy at the table and ask for his number. When Xiao approaches a boy and gets his number, Xiao becomes extremely jealous and gets drunk, eventually passing out. The next scene shows Xiao helping him back to his dorm. In his intoxicated state, Xiao tells her not to leave him, but Xiao, thinking he's just rambling, leaves him outside the dorm. Later, we find out that Xiao was pretending to be drunk to get closer to her. The next day, Xiao is in class when Chan, the boy who gave her his number, arrives. The teacher introduces him as the student union head who will be conducting a seminar and needs volunteers. Xiao, distracted by eating momos, volunteers, and the teacher appoints her on the college website. Rumors start circulating that Xiao, the university's Prince Charming, is a playboy who flirts with girls privately. Hearing this, Xiao becomes upset and leaves. Later, Xiao meets Xiao but avoids letting him check his phone to prevent him from seeing the negative comments. Xiao tells her he blocked the comments and asks if she cares about him. Xiao responds that he studies all day and doesn't have time for girls. Xiao then asks if she would be upset if he had a girlfriend and couldn't spend time with her. Xiao says he's grown up and can have a girlfriend. She won't stop him. The next day, Xiao invites Xiao to an optional class, and they walk together. Xiao thinks she wants to hold his hand, but she says she just wants breakfast. Chan asks if they know each other, and Xiao replies that Xiao is her brother, although Xiao clarifies that they are not blood-related. Later, Chan tells Xiao about a seminar meeting and asks if she has a camera for photos. Chan offers to buy Xiao a camera, and Xiao's roommates tease him, saying that if Xiao is his childhood sweetheart, he should pay more attention to her, or someone else might take her away. In the dorm, they start giving him ideas to impress Xiao. For the first idea, Xiao brings a chocolate bouquet and calls Xiao downstairs, but she lowers a basket with a rope and tells him to place the bouquet in it. The next day, Xiao tries another idea and places cards with a coded message that says, "I love you," but Xiao doesn't understand the code. Frustrated, Xiao scolds his roommates, saying their ideas are useless. Another friend suggests a third idea. Zhang takes Xiao outside, and suddenly the lights go out. "Happy birthday" appears on the building, and Xiao makes a dramatic entrance, wishing her a happy birthday and gifting her a camera. Later, Xiao writes in her online novel about how Xiao's behavior has changed since school ended. He always tries to get close to her, which she doesn't mind. The next day, when Xiao meets Xiao, she starts avoiding him. Chan then arrives and tells her she should practice with the camera. While taking photos of them together, some students gossip about Xiao, calling him shameless for being so close to another boy. The next day in the library, Xiao asks Xiao why she's avoiding him. She mentions that she can't afford to buy him a birthday gift. They notice Chan arguing with a girl, which makes Xiao nervous. As they study, Xiao falls asleep, and Xiao stares at him, touching his face. Someone captures a photo of them, and Xiao notices that Xiao's photo was posted online, but hers was cropped out. At Xiao's birthday party, everyone is surprised that Xiao didn't bring him a gift. They insist she go shopping, but when she sees the price of a dress, she says she can't afford it. Xiao suggests she try it on, and when she does, she likes it. He decides to buy it, and the staff mentions it's on sale for just $1.98, making Xiao happy. As they leave the store, a girl flirts with Xiao, and Xiao becomes jealous and angry. Xiao convinces her, and they celebrate his birthday together. Later, Xiao walks Xiao back to her dorm. He hopes for a goodnight hug, but innocent Xiao just grabs her bag and camera and walks away. The next day, Xiao and Zhang are together when an old classmate calls Xiao to discuss some plans, but he doesn't inform Zhang. Later, Xiao meets Xiao, who invites her to Forest Park during the holiday. Xiao declines, saying she has an appointment with someone, but doesn't say who. Xiao asks, "Is it a girl or a boy?" Xiao responds, "Maybe a boy," and leaves, saying she has class. Xiao is left wondering who the person could be. The next day, Zhang plans to attend her idol's fan meetup during the holiday. However, despite Xiao's efforts, Zhang's plan doesn't change. Xiao tells Zhang that she wants her to stay with her because she and Xiao have broken up. She says she is no longer interested in him. Hearing this, Zhang cancels her plans to stay with Xiao. At that moment, Xiao arrives and asks, "Where were you? We were supposed to go to the library together. Did you forget?" Xiao responds that she doesn't want to go anywhere with him. Xiao, confused, goes to his room and vents his frustration to his roommates. Xiao later messages Xiao asking him to meet in the evening because she has something to tell him. Xiao starts imagining that she might be calling him to break up. In the next scene, Xiao tells Zhang that she saw Xiao talking to a girl. Zhang, upset, goes to confront him. Xiao was actually with Wen, but Zhang mistakenly thought Wen was a girl. Zhang is surprised when she realizes it's Wen. Xiao shares his feelings with Zhang, but before he can say, "I love you," Zhang interrupts and says, "Yes, I love you too." Meanwhile, Xiao asks Xiao why she didn't tell him about Wen earlier. Xiao explains that Wen had forbidden her from mentioning it. Xiao pretends to be angry, and Xiao tries to pacify him. Just then, Xiao's mom video calls her and asks if she's on a date. Xiao replies, "No, we're just taking a walk together." Xiao then asks why Xiao isn't making their relationship public. Xiao explains that if her mom finds out now, she'll either ask them to get married or get engaged. She promises to tell her when the time is right. Before heading to her dorm, Xiao kisses Xiao. Xiao kisses Xiao back. The scene shifts to when they come home for the holidays. Early in the morning, Xiao comes to Xiao's house and wakes him up, but he pretends to be asleep. Xiao tells him not to pretend, so Xiao pins her to the bed, and a romantic moment is about to unfold when Xiao's dad enters and asks what they want for breakfast. Xiao tries to turn the romantic scenario into a fight, but his dad understands what's going on. Afterward, they go outside and Xiao hugs her from behind. Xiao says, "What if our parents see us?" Xiao asks, "What if we make our relationship public?" Xiao kisses him and says, "No." Xiao kisses her back and then asks, "You went shopping with Mom today. Why didn't you wear that dress?" Xiao becomes nervous because she bought a lot of innerwear and warns him not to tell their parents about their relationship yet. Afterward, they hold hands and go for a walk, getting closer as they walk. During their night walk, they see neighbors out for a walk. Xiao asks, "Do we have to hide our relationship from the neighbors too?" Xiao says, "Of course, we need to hide from the neighbors, or they'll tell our parents." They then see their parents playing cards and join them. During the game, they start fighting, which makes Xiao's dad suspicious about whether they are really in a relationship. In the next scene, their parents leave for a 7-day trip. Xiao's father doesn't want to leave them alone at home, but they are forced to go. Xiao happily plans for all 7 days, but on the first day, Xiao says her cousin is visiting. On the second day, she says she's taking her cousin back. On the third day, she's completing a photo shoot task with some college friends. On the fourth day, she says she has her period, and Xiao thinks they won't spend any time together. The next day, Xiao brings breakfast to Xiao's house. He asks, 3 days are left. Do you have any plans today?" Xiao replies, "Yes, Zhang invited me to a movie," and kisses him on the cheek, making his cheeks turn red. In the next scene, Xiao meets Zhang, where Wen is also present. Zhang asks, "Where is Qiao? I asked for a couple's date." Xiao replies, "I thought it would just be the two of us, but no problem, I'll explain it to him later." Before Xiao can explain, Xiao shows her a photo of the three of them, saying a friend from school sent it to him. Xiao explains that she didn't know Wen would be there. Otherwise, she would have asked him to come along. Xiao accuses her of not cherishing him, not wanting anyone to know about their relationship, and ignoring him. After hearing this, Xiao leaves without explaining anything. In the next scene, Xiao realizes she shouldn't have ignored Xiao like that and decides to meet him. However, Qiao arrives and tells her that he lost the key to his house. He gives Xiao a cake and apologizes to her. Xiao apologizes in return, saying that sometimes she forgets they are in a relationship. Qiao responds by saying that he has created an app to remind her that they are in a relationship. Meanwhile, Xiao's father has brought them home a day earlier. Xiao teases Qiao, saying, "How would it be if I ignored you for a few more days?" Just then, their parents arrive outside the house. Inside, Xiao and Xiao are being romantic, with Xiao pushing her onto the sofa. Suddenly, Xiao hears a key sound from Qiao's pocket and realizes he lied about losing the key. As Qiao is about to kiss her, their parents walk in. Xiao's father seems a bit upset seeing them together, but the others look happy. In the next scene, Xiao returns to his dorm. On the other side, Zhang takes Xiao to a seminar, but she isn't excited about it at all. Qiao is also there, but Xiao still doesn't feel excited. However, when she sees Jun on stage, she becomes very excited and tells Zhang that Jun was her childhood crush. In the following scene, Jun tells Qiao that he wants him to join his company after graduation. He says that after joining, Qiao can do whatever he wants. Qiao agrees but sets two conditions. First, his roommates must be on his team, and second, Jun must stay away from Xiao. Jun, understanding that Qiao is serious about his relationship, accepts both conditions. In the next scene, Xiao and Zhang are assigned homework to cover the news. They start shooting a video for the news coverage, and Xiao sends Zhang to spend time with Wen. Suddenly, they see a boy approaching, and a lady deliberately falls in front of his bike. Everyone starts blaming the boy. Xiao and Zhang, after observing the situation, think the boy seems innocent and decide to expose the case. The next day, Xiao and Zhang look worried because they can't find any news to finish their homework. Xiao looked at her phone and said to Xiao, "The video of that boy with the bike from yesterday is trending, and everyone is blaming him. I think we should use this opportunity to get him justice, which will also help us finish our homework." They then watched the video they shot yesterday and realized that the boy with the bike was not at fault. Afterward, they spent the whole night editing the video. A few hours later, their news starts trending, and the boy with the bike comes to thank them. A flashback shows the boy, named Xian, going to a cafe and seeing Xiao comforting a crying child. He is impressed by her kindness. He approaches Xiao, thanks her, and uses the excuse of the bike incident video to get her number. Just then, Qiao arrives and takes Xiao away. The next morning, Xian brings a lot of drinks to Xiao as a thank you treat. As Xiao is leaving her dorm, Qiao sees Xian. Later that night, Xian calls out to Xiao outside her dorm and has set up decorations. Xiao comes down and asks, "What is all this? People might misunderstand us." Xian responds that he will start approaching her from now on. Xiao tells him that she already has a boyfriend and asks him not to waste his time. Xian replies that he knows but will still try. Maybe he will win this love war. Qiao's classmates witness all this and show the video to him in the dorm, telling him everything. His friend suggests he should make their relationship public so no one else proposes to Xiao. The next day, Xian is waiting for Xiao outside her dorm with breakfast. Xiao tells him, "I'm on a diet right now, and by the way, I'm your senior, so please call me sister." Just then, Qiao arrives, and Xiao introduces him to Xian, saying, "He is my boyfriend, and we are in a very good relationship." Xian replies, "I don't think your relationship is that healthy. If it were, why haven't you made it public yet? Qiao doesn't even know how to be romantic. You don't even know the basic rules of a relationship." Xiao responds, "I'm not romantic either, so we are a perfect match," and walks away with Qiao. In the next scene, when Xiao enters her room, Zhang tells her that Qiao has posted something about her on his account. Xiao checks the post and sees that Qiao has blocked her. Zhang explains that Qiao probably thought the post might make her angry, so he blocked her. He might have posted it to keep Xiao away from her. Despite understanding this, Xiao gets very angry at Xiao for blocking her. The next day, Seon is again outside Xiao's dorm. Xiao says, "Oh, so you haven't given up yet?" Seon replies, "Until you two are married, I still have a chance." Just then, Xiao comes out of the dorm, and Seon confesses his love to her again. Seeing this, Xiao becomes affectionate with Xiao. Though Xiao is angry with Xiao, she ignores Seon and leaves with Xiao. Later, Zhang returns from her internship and asks Xiao about her relationship with Xiao. Xiao confesses that they share a bed, but insists nothing has happened. Zhang teases her, saying it's unlikely for nothing to happen when sharing a bed. In another scene, Xiao takes Zhang to a surprise proposal event, knowing Wen is planning to propose. Zhang is shocked to see Wen there, who confesses that he's missed her every single day since their breakup. He even dances to her favorite song from school, making Zhang emotional. Although she appreciates the effort, she tells Wen she needs more time before deciding to restart their relationship. Wen agrees to wait. At work, Xiao is assigned a competitive task against Wei Wei to see who can attract more audience through interviews. Wei Wei, overheard on the phone, dismisses Xiao's chances unless she interviews a celebrity. Inspired, Xiao invites Han, a famous celebrity, for an interview. Han initially teases Xiao about being too busy for him, but the company director praises Xiao for arranging such a big guest. Even her boss is impressed. Later, Xiao teaches Xiao how to cook. As they're about to kiss, their food gets ready, and they decide to eat first. The next morning, Xiao playfully calls her honey, making Xiao blush. She jokes that they aren't married yet, so why is he calling her that? Xiao teases her, saying they've been married for 3 years in his imagination. He assures her that her father has accepted their relationship, and they'll get married soon. Xiao invites Han for breakfast, but he ends up cooking for everyone. When Xiao scolds Xiao for letting their guest cook, she accidentally hits Han, who jokingly reminds her he's a singer and dancer. During breakfast, Xiao recalls how she supported Han in his early career. Han mentions in a flashback that his public crush confession was just for attention, as idols must remain single. That night, Xiao teases Xiao and kisses her. They share an intimate moment, but the next morning, Xiao imagines scenarios about their night together. When Xiao finds her lost in thought, she nervously makes excuses, and they laugh it off. Later, the two reminisce about their childhood and school memories during a night walk. At an amusement park, Xiao confesses how hard it was for him when they were apart during college and proposes to Xiao. She happily accepts, and fireworks light up the sky as they declare their love for each other. In the final scenes, they are shown happily married with a baby. They often leave the baby with their parents to go on trips. Visiting the place where their love story began, Xiao kisses Xiao and tells her he forgot to thank her for being in his life. The drama ends with a sweet kiss and a promise of everlasting love. If you enjoyed this drama, subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories.